Hey everybody, welcome back to Cottonwood Hill Farms. So we're finally getting back on this project. This tractor, it's been sitting here for, I don't even know, I think we're coming up on a year, close to a year. Just a lot of things going on, pulling me in different directions, and I just haven't had time to mess with this. But anyway, I'm gonna kind of go over a few things that are left to do here and refresh my memory. But where we left off, we got if you haven't seen, if you haven't seen the last couple videos, I'll link those here here up above. But this tractor, it's been sitting for, gosh, 10 years, 8 years, something like that. Put new plugs and wires in it, PTO clutch, changed the fluids already. And the next thing on the agenda is the fuel line. We are going to put a new fuel line on it with an inline fuel filter. Had the carburetor rebuilt, that's ready to go back on. And then the other big thing is the steering up here for the steering gear. What happened is these bolts worked themselves loose, and underneath here you can see this one, it's toast. So I got some new bolts, but the problem is I have a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm wondering if the threads inside are boogered up or stripped or something. This steering knuckle, I got to put a new piece on here. And on these older Masseys like this, it was a rubber piece that that they had up here, and I think I had a piece of old belting or something that I made and had this on here. But this shaft is, this is the steering shaft, goes through the gas tank, and instead of having like a U-joint or a knuckle here, it's just a piece of rubber. So we're gonna try and get that back together. And then once I get all that stuff done, then the last thing is I got to put the 3-point back on the seat and just the fenders and that kind of stuff. But so I got an inline filter, some hose, and then some clamps, and I'm just going to reuse. I'm going to cut the ends off this old pipe, and then just clamp this new hose right to these fittings and reuse these. And the fuel line just, it comes right through here from the bowl right through here down over into the carburetor, so it's a pretty easy shot. This is what we had in here last time. I'm not even sure. I don't know if this is belting. It's really thick for belting material. I don't know where, but anyway, this is what I used last time. Obviously, it didn't hold up real well. It broke apart. It was old and brittle when I cut it. But the plan now is I got some pieces of motorcycle tire, and so I think what I'm going to do is just take. I'm just going to take this template, make a template essentially, draw it out, cut it probably with a Sawzall, and then drill some holes in it. But I'm going to double it up and use both of these. So I'm thinking that should be plenty for what I'm doing here, and it should last quite a while, because these tires are pretty heavy and pretty thick. So we'll see. So I just took this and traced it out, and then I'm actually just using some tin snips, and it's working actually pretty good. I got the other one cut already, and I'm just about done with this one. So these are pretty much the same size. I just need to get my hole saw, which I actually don't think I have a 2-inch.
This is the things that they are, that my dad drew. They're like little eyeballs. Boop.
Well, there's my piece. I put them back to back. I think that should actually work pretty good. We'll see how well it fits.
Can't see me? You see me? Can't see me? You see me?
Well, I think that'll work. We'll see how long that holds up for. The other issue this thing's having is the I don't even know what you call this, but it's it'd be like the throttle friction pad, I guess. But on the throttle on these old tractors, they've got springs on them to help assist moving up and down. But then it's got a friction pad on it, so when you move the throttle, it actually stays where it's at. Well, this one, the last few times I was using it, you'd throttle up and then the throttle would slowly work itself down. Well, the friction pad, that's what this is getting worn, and it's up underneath the dash. I couldn't really get much video of me taking it out. It was just pretty tight quarters, but you can see, I believe this is cork is what it is, but it's really worn down. So I'm guessing I probably can't get this part anymore. So the fix would be to maybe take a piece of cork and cut, which I do have some cork, and put on top of this, put it back together just to give it some friction, so that way when you tighten the nut up on the bottom, and it's got a nut and it's got this is a spring, flat spring I guess you would call it, goes on here, and then the nut goes over top of it, and so that's what keeps pressure on it when it's installed. So I'll have to do some looking, but I'm pretty sure just a layer of cork material would take care of that problem. Well, they don't make this piece anymore, but I cleaned it up a little bit. It had a ton of grease on it. I just took a wire wheel to it real quick and just cleaned it up. There you can see. Cut some more cork. I'm gonna put this over top of it and put it back together. I'm thinking that's gonna do it. It shouldn't need much. And it, like I said, it was pretty filled with grease and dirty. So, and I know it's wore down a little bit, plus that wire wheel didn't help either. So, and I don't know if I probably don't need both of these. I probably just one could get away with one, but I'm gonna go ahead and put two on there. I don't think it'll hurt anything. Well, that's a lot tighter than it was. I think that's going to work great. I got to get this bowl back on. For some reason, I don't know, this hasn't been sealing correctly, and I've had it on there twice, and both times it was leaking really bad. So we're going to try it a third time. I have no idea what this thing does, but I remember I bought it years ago. We had this engine overhauled, and I bought it years ago when we had the engine overhauled, and I never did put it on. So, hey, better late than never, huh? Alright, well, I think we're going to fire this girl up, see how that throttle works, and got to put I drained all the old gas out of it, so it ain't not no gas in it, so I gotta put a little gas in it. right, that's exciting. This thing is purring like a kitten-ish. It does need a muffler. This thing's really loud. But anyway, I got one more thing I got to do before I start putting it all back together. I still got to do the seat, 3-point fenders, all that kind of stuff. But the steering rack, I've got 2 or 3 bolts I think that stripped out. I'm not sure. Last time this happened, so this is set up the same way our 1130 is set up. This is a Massey Ferguson. It's just an older style, but the design is strikingly similar with a lot of the stuff on this compared to the 1130. Anyway, the steering rack is basically the same thing. Underneath, it's got there's 3 bolts that are actually kind of like that. There's 3 bolts in that pattern right there, kind of at a half moon, that hold the there's a plate that the tie rods connect to underneath there, and they bolt to the bottom of the steering rack, and then as the steering rack turns one way or the other, that's what turns the wheels. Anyway, same thing's happening to this that happened to the 1130. Those bolts work themselves out, and then as they work themselves out, they kind of strip out. This is one of the bolts that worked itself out. See, it just kind of flattened itself out as it worked itself out. So anyway, I gotta start messing with this. I'm not sure. This happened years and years ago. Gosh, I mean, I haven't used this thing in years anyway, but this happened. This would have been 2012-ish. I don't know, 12, 13 years ago. Anyway, what happened was the same deal happened, and I ended up, it stripped out one of the holes, and so I actually ended up taking this whole piece off, and it was just easier, lay it on the bench and then rethread it and then put it back on. Dummy me, I didn't use Loctite. I should use Loctite and I would have never had this problem again, but I didn't, and same thing has happened. So anyway, we're going to kind of look into this. I'm hoping I don't have to do that again. It's just really tight underneath, and so you can't really get a tap underneath there. But we're gonna see what we can do with just some bolts and see if we can get it back on there. So this is what I'm talking about. There's it's kind of hard to see up in here, but that's the plate right there that they bolt to, and then you see the circle, the round piece up on top, and then the bolts are in a, you know, the half moon, like I said. Well, I was able to get this pushed over far enough. Actually, I think this one the one closest to me is the one I got to re-tap, but I don't have a big enough tap, so I'm waiting to borrow one. While I'm waiting for that tap, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the 3-point back on. Well, this is what we're doing. There wasn't enough room to get in there and get that tapped, so I figured it was a heck of a lot easier to just pull the front end off.
Hello.
This is gonna be tough, but I can do it. I think I can do it.
Okay, you ready?
Be careful, this thing.
Okay, so we just got this all done.
The camera died, but it was a little sketcy. We got it, but it was definitely a little sketcy.
Oh, you even have stuff. Okay, turn it.
Yep. A little bit more. Okay, hold it right there. Holy Toledo, I can't see anything.
Can I come down?
Aha! Okay.
All right, I got one.
Why are we not?
Oh, I see.
Pull back on that rod.
Dude.
There, right there. Hold it right there.
Oh,
There,
flashlight's in my eye.
Yep, that's perfect. There, okay.
It's gonna go
You like
first.
working on stuff?
Yeah. Well, right now, yeah.
Don't loosen them. Are you messing with them?
Which way do I go?
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Well, it's the next morning. And we're gonna get this thing out and about.
Hold on, I gotta put this. I gotta put this back real quick. Grab that piece of the grill behind the.
Are these the bolts?
I'm not sure yet. Just no. Those are way too big. Those are the old ones, the ones that we put in last night. Now, oh, let's go. That's right.
Dad, how do you turn on the lights?
I don't think they work right now. Just so one click over, push the button.
Hey! I want to try that. Dad! I don't want to try it,
Well, that's pretty awesome. Long time coming. Almost 10 years since we've been able to use that thing. Pretty excited to have that in the toolbox now to be able to pull that out and use it whenever we need to. Raking hay. We can use that on the square baler. We can use it to harrow. We've got a small disc if we ever need to use with it. All kinds of stuff. So that's going to be definitely added value to our resources around here. And we got so much more room for activities in the shop now. Thanks for coming along, guys. That's going to do it for this one. We appreciate it. Like always, comments, likes, all that kind of stuff. The support doesn't go unnoticed. If you guys enjoy our content, maybe you know somebody that might like it also, we'd appreciate it if you go ahead and share it with them too. That helps us out a lot. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Cottonwood Hill Farms. You guys take care. We'll see you in the next one.